Hi everyone, Steve Westman. Welcome to the Audiophiles. How you doing today? I just thought, I get a lot of viewers on my roundtable ask me about some of my favorite Mobile Fidelity albums. Now, not the MoFi of today's era, but the original Mobile Fidelity, and what pressings I think sound the best. And I wanted to show you all today some of the ones that I listened to. And I know there's debate about the smiley EQ that Stan Ricker did in the late 70s and 80s. Now these were all half-speed mastered, cut from the original master tapes by Stan Ricker, legendary Stan Ricker. I think a lot of these ones that I'm showing today do sound really good, so I just wanted to show you today which ones in my collection I really enjoy listening to and still think are worth pursuing if you want to look at the original Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs catalog. So I'll start with this one here. Steve Miller, Fly Like an Eagle. I know you can pick these one up in a bargain bin. I mean, I have seen them for as low as $5 here in Vancouver. But I mean, having it half-speed cut by Stan Ricker in, what was it, 1979, I think it was, for this Steve Miller cut. I mean, it's a must-have if you're a Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs fan and you want some of the older catalog material. I mean, Fly Like an Eagle is incredible album. I mean, it's hit after hit, as we all know. And I wanted to bring everyone's attention to this as well. So there's inserts that come with all these old 70s original master recordings. And one thing that's really interesting was this that I read, and I'm sure a lot of you have read it before and have it, but we don't really know how many were pressed, right? But here we go. They're saying we do not guarantee to exceed more than 2,000 copies of any release, it says here. That is a small number compared with today's averages of the 3 to 10 million units sold by a top name artist. So there you go. So no Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs from the 70s have pressed, or I guess they pressed more than 200,000, which is interesting as well. So that's Steve Miller Band. Another must own is, you guys know it, Fleetwood Mac. And it's interesting, I don't know, maybe there's other ones, but it says original master recording on the bottom, right? And I mean, you look at the Steve Miller, it's on the top. So I know a lot of people have said it before, many years. I mean, you're flipping through the bins and you just see the top thinking, oh, it's just an original, and didn't see it as being a Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab. I'm sure a few people have missed that before. What I like about that, I mean, this just sounds great. This is the debut album for Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. A lot of the old 70s Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs didn't have color labels, and this has the colored label as well, which I really like compared to, you look at the Steve Miller. I mean, you guys know this, right? It's just the boring white label, boring. But so this one a little bit brighter, has the colors. Again, a must for, if you're a Fleetwood Mac fan, you guys probably have this. I have the original, it sounds great as well. But again, half-speed mastered, cut by Stan Ricker. I really like this one. I'm not gonna say much about it. This is my 1979 pressing, I believe, of Dark Side of the Moon. Not much more to say about that. Now, here's one, and these are cheap as well. If you're a Poco fan, they cut Legend. Here it is, Legend by Poco. This album cover also, too, was designed by the late comedian, Saturday Night Live alumnus Phil Hartman as well. So Phil Hartman's brother was a manager of Poco in the band America back in the early 70s and 80s. So Poco, half-speed cut, Stan Ricker. These are cheap and they sound great. This is a great album. Just from a sound perspective, it will really show off your gear as well. It does sound really good. Moving on. Now, definitely this is not the best sounding stereo version, but again, if you're wanting to build a Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs collection from the 70s and early 80s, The Doors, self-titled, yes, have to own it. Not the best sounding. Again, Analog Productions, The Doors at 45 RPM by Doug Sax is the one. I like this one. It just doesn't have as much dynamics. The soundstage just isn't as large as the AP1. I mean, one of the reasons, of course, it's cut at 45, where this one's 33 RPM. But again, for your collection, have a look at The Doors, self-titled. I don't own this one in Mobile Fidelity, but I wanted to show you. This is Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Stan Ricker cut it at half speed, the Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs version. This is a Super Disc MCA half speed cut from the original master tapes. I own this one. It's absolutely phenomenal. Now, again, from the master's half speed cut, I can't imagine the Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs is going to sound any better than this. This is a killer album. This is the Super Disc pressing, and from MCA Records. Direct Disc Labs is actually the name of the company that produces, and it was cut by Jack Hunt, who also cut Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club's Band for Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs. So there you go. He cut this one as well. Love this album. This is my favorite Stones album. This is the Stones, Some Girls. What more can I say? Again, if you wanted to add to your collection, this one sounds hot. Every song sounds hot. Beast of Burden, I love that song, and everything comes out in this album. I love the sound of Beast of Burden. I love the sound of Charlie Watts' drums. He is pounding those skins on this album, and you can really hear it on every single track that he's on. Incredible. Moving on. Now, I've got the Robert Ludwig Hot Cut, but again, a big Zeppelin fan, and I like the old Mobile Fidelity stuff. So this Led Zeppelin Mo-Fi 2, a little bit softer. Bass is not as I guess punchy, but again, it's a great addition to your collection if you're loving Mo-Fi. If you want an incredible sounding Led Zeppelin 2, again, this one's cut by Stan Ricker. I would say this is a must-have in your collection for both a Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab perspective, or of course if you're a Zeppelin fan. I mean, of course, the Ludwig master or cut. Everyone says mix. It's not a mix, but it's Ludwig cut definitely has more dynamics. He cut it hot. And with that being said, if you look at that, there's not a lot of dead wax left. So I mean, again, this, you can't compare the two, but this is a great sounding album as well. Got a couple more here. Again, a must-have if you're a late 70s Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs collector. What more can you say? David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust. Love this album. Hey, look at this. There's Kanye West. Incredible. He shows up in what, 1973? Kanye West, K West, interesting. But yeah, this is another great album. I mean, every single track is phenomenal. Love it. Need it in your collection if you're looking for really great high quality audiophile pressings from the 70s. Own it. And then last but not least, the original sounds great. This is engineered by Ken Scott, who engineered for the Beatles' White Album. Again, has to be cut by Stan Ricker from the Masters. Wow, incredible. I also have the Canadian edition Mo-Fi. The same, sounds pretty much the same. It's probably the same price as well, but I love this. I've had this for many, many years. This is in my dad's collection as well. So, I mean, I remember him putting this on many times when I was a younger boy than I am today. But yeah, so these are some of the ones I'm recommending today if you're out there looking for Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs. And I know the big news, of course, is the Eagles One Step. I didn't buy it just because it's expensive, but I got the Chris Bellman cut. Doesn't sound compressed. The drums, Henley's drums sound great. The vocals on all the songs, including New Kid in Town, sound incredible. This is a Chris Bellman. I think it's 2009. I could be wrong, but I mean, these are what, $25, $30? I mean, if you want a good placeholder, you don't want to spend the money on the One Step, which of course, from all the reviews, sounds like it's a home run or a grand slam. But I mean, again, from a budget point of view, I have to spend $150 US, which translates after tax and everything to, over 200 Canadian. So I can buy a lot of albums for $200 and not just sit on one album. And I have this one, and I don't need duplicate copies of Hotel California, that's for sure. Anyways, guys, I hope if you're collecting, there you go, some fun stuff. Have a great, great day and spin some vinyl. Turn it up loud. We'll see you again on the Audiophiles. Take care.